welcome to another episode of Leaving the Farm with Pat and Tami. How are you, Pat?
Well, we're actually here, so that's a good thing, right?
Yeah. I need to apologize for last week. I think we had technical difficulties or something. But it was quite a mess. We'd scheduled Bo to come on to, be the host, and I mean, it was just a mess with technical crap. How are you, Katie?
Oh, good. Yeah, I was just typing. We got hacked hardcore last week. They took out Blog Talk Radio altogether for the prime time for Thursday night. So we're special. Yay!
Absolutely
special.
Yeah, so it's all good. And yes, the the call-in board is filling up more now than I've ever seen it, and it's beautiful to see. It means that people are awake and listening, and hopefully we're sharing the right information with everyone. And again, don't play follow the leader here, guys. You need to follow your own heart and find that which resonates with you. And that's all we're doing, is finding what resonates with us. That's why we do what we do, and we do it together. Works for me.
Absolutely. We lots and lots happening. In the USDC 313 CV052 Northern District of Indiana, the default judgments were laid down and maintained. The first default judgment condemning the lower court, which is the superior, has not been argued. The second default was entered by the clerk on entry, and I don't even know where to begin right now. The second default was argued by the county commission. Of course, we came back in to let them know that they're an agency by estoppel created by the 1802 Indemnification Convention, which is unlawful on its face. It's where the United States, the human beings, were all indemnified and maintained under debenture when the commission state was created, whereby they don't even exist. Congress has been found guilty of RICO violations, federal and state. Senate's been found guilty of RICO violations, federally and state. State's been found guilty of RICO violations. IRS has been found guilty of RICO violations. You name it, Northern Holdings and Trust. Not one of them have come in and argued anything, except for the Board of Commissioners in South Bend, Indiana, St. Joseph's County. And their argument was pretty much moot. It doesn't have any argument whatsoever. They were trying to maintain...
Yeah, welcome to Blog Talk Truth Radio. Yeah, she got bumped off the board, so no problem. I'll just wait for it. She'll get back on there. I just called in as me for a change, which is all good. Oh, there she is. That's all good. Wait for it. Tami, are you there? Just waiting for you to get back on. It usually takes a few seconds for things to react. Oh, she got hacked again. I have a funny feeling that Tami's going to be calling in via telephone very shortly. So, got a lot of callers in. A lot of numbers that are looking real familiar. So thank you guys so much for being regulars and getting this information out. It's greatly appreciated. And of course,
it's so funny this happens right when she's explaining exactly what the last entry was doing. The default on all of their stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, this is a big thing. She says it so plain, like it doesn't,
Well, I tell you, there's still something that has to be done, Pat, and this is what I've been trying to get to you and Tami about. And again, it's about, we're still walking into their courts with unclean hands. So I was looking for the soap, and I found it. So doesn't matter whether it's been done, by any individual specifically in order. Just it matters that it has been done. And the bottom line is this, is we are using a name in fraud. We are coming into court with unclean hands based on the registering. And this is one of
Actually, Bo and Tami did not go in with that name. basically, the default just is saying that they didn't argue any of what they what Bo put in, and there is so much in there, calling them on the human trafficking, on actually making victims of females instead of protecting them, all of the funding that they get through the IMF for this, that ends it, because this was taken all the way up to the IMF and their insurance, and it's not a matter of them whether they're ethical and they're going to do the right thing. It comes down to it's very costly to continue to do this. So with all this stuff that's going on, it just seems like they're trying to fake us out with this to stir the fear. Stir the fear. It's hilarious because they don't have any power. I hear somebody. Is that you, Tami?
Am I on?
You are now.
Good. There was a caller on the board that was showing up as 111, 111, 111, 1111, and I have since
that all the
removed
time
them.
Now.
Yeah, and just if you
and they
see
never
it,
answer when
it.
they ask for who it is. So yeah, that was been pretty curious.
Yeah. So I removed them when I got back, and if you see them come back on, just remove them for me, because it appears like they're the ones that are actually causing these issues.
Okay.
And that's not a number that, it's not a...
Yeah, that's a block thing. That's kind of like what the the debt collectors use and stuff like that, the sneaky stuff.
Right, and...
so, I was sort of winging it, tap dancing, trying to... keep the air from being completely null, and explaining a little more about what the case was about and what the default was on. And I know I didn't do a very good job, so that's where I kind of left off.
Well, what happened was we came in using their contracts to evidence their criminal activity starting from October 15th, 1777. And at that point in time was the Articles of Confederation that Congress had maintained to become what is now known as the League of Nations. And what we evidenced throughout the cases, this was what was allowing human trafficking. Various commission states, various authorities that were created by Congress. These are all agencies by estoppel. They actually don't have any authority whatsoever. And Congress has defaulted as well, whereby they've been found guilty, along with Senate, of human trafficking. They didn't argue. They tried to avoid service or summon. The most hilarious was the corporation company sent back their summons in the same envelope and included a little note inside that said they were not a party to the case, which is not really denial of a summons. Senate, we got theirs back, and it said refused, although Senate said on a piece of tape, taping it back shut, that it was open for inspection, which, of course, is another acceptance of the summons. They opened it for inspection. It's been so interesting to watch their behavior when they're caught and when their ass is on the line. They're avoiding the debt collection just like any other Roman citizen does. And that's something that I would like to explain. Because
let me ask you something. While you fell out, Kate brought in that there's still something that needs to be done.
I'm here,
good,
by the way.
You can say it.
Well, that's why I got hacked. They bumped me right as I was telling you guys. The word refuse, by the way, means to rejoin as well as to push away, right? So if you refuse something, you're rejoining it. So this is why we have to be mindful of their trickery, their magi trickery. We have to come into court with clean hands, and we're not coming into court with clean hands because our mind, body, and spirit. This is the unclean hands doctrine. Doc, by the way, is another word for penis. It's all about being literally fucked in the head. That's what document is. Doc you mind, right? Dick you mind. It's all the same thing. And it's all about phallus worship with these guys. So this is, again, we're going back to dismembering. I'm not remembering anything. I'm dismembering it all, right? There's a reason why they cut off the dick of Osiris and threw it away, because that's what was enslaving us. That whole masculine patriarchal intention that it has to force its way into every opening or hole it can find, be it a home or in any form of rape. So what we need to do is we need to come back with clean hands. And why they registered us was to rule over the divine, creative, feminine, spiritual essence. That's what stir is. That's what the word star is. That is the divine feminine. And what we've done here, we have to go with separation of church and state. Not to separate church and state. No, it's to separate ourselves from church and state, because we're joined to both. Church is UPU, state is UCC. Okay, so what we've got here.
Well, and that's another thing, is the postal union. That's something that I would like to explain here, because a lot of people have the notion that it's something different and everything else. Well, as soon as we perfected title as the United States, we perfected title that they are not any form of authority or whatever, Bo was given an option recently by being sent 2 letters, both from the same entity. One letter was in the dead name, dead address, not temporary post location, and one letter was in the proper name, house of, temporary post location. On the one letter in the dead name, signifying that he would be a citizen, there was the regular postal coding and barcode. On the second letter, it identified him as the Postmaster General by the 999 code. And what that does is he perfected title that he's the leaseholder of the United States, which means that we're all the leaseholder of the United States, because he came in as the United States. So at this point in time, the United States et al., in rem et al. Libertas, is the Postmaster General. And what that means is that we are the only trustees. We are the ones that are protecting humanity. We are the ones protecting the United States. And this has always been the same game. This is how it happens. Jesus said over and over again, you are known by your works and action. Bo never came in and asked to be the Postmaster General. Bo never asked anybody if he could be anything. He never asked anybody to determine what he was or what we are. He just spoke it and he did it. He acted as him, as God, as the United States. And what has happened is he's perfected title in that. Now, on March 5th, he notified the International Monetary Fund that the United States Incorporated has voluntarily withdrawn from its participation and membership in the International Monetary Fund. By March 8th, they were withdrawn from the International Monetary Fund. And what this means is that now the United States has control of the Federal Reserve. Anything that is done will be done under public law, because there is no more funding under law, acts of commerce, and private acts, which is what each nation, each county is maintaining under the United Nations Charter, which is, again, it goes back to Congress. Congress created this. Congress created everything. And they have been found guilty of human trafficking. Their trustees, which are each and every judge, federal magistrate, local judge, each one of those judges are the trustee of the Federal Reserve, or they were. To be a trustee, you have to evidence yourself as a judge, period. You have to evidence yourself that you are the trustee and that you are protecting humanity, period. There is no other option. To be a trustee of an eleemosynary trust, you have to be the trustee. You have to work and you have to act in action. Now, what we did prior to the default judgments is we put in a demand to produce title or quit up against David Chaplow, the judge. And we said, you have evidenced yourself as an attorney. Now it is up to you to evidence yourself as a judge. That judge, or the quote judge, he evidenced himself again as an attorney. So that was the answer. His answer was, fuck you. I'm not a judge. I'm not a trustee. I'm just an attorney. So he condemned his entire court, the Superior Court, St. Joseph's Superior Court in South Bend. That was the default that was not argued. The other default that was, of course, barely argued by the county commission was nothing. They're a fiction. They have been maintained as a fiction. Their evidence is a fiction. Their evidence is a creation of Congress. Congress is found guilty. So anything that Congress has maintained or done is obliterated. They don't have the ability to create, such as the IRS or county commission or any other authority, because they're not an authority.
But as to what she had said earlier was something about having unclean hands going into their courts with their dead fiction, and I was saying that you did not do that.
No, absolutely not. And what that whole case, the entire case was founded on the fact that they were trying to post him in violation of the 1794 Treaty of Amity, Commerce, and Navigation. And at that point, he's saying, no, I am not the dead thing. You are trying to mail me things in the mail and post me in violation of 18 U.S.C. 1342. And what that did was they scrambled around. They were trying to post him. The attorney said, well, I'm going to post him anyway. And he kept getting nailed for this because he motioned for this. He did it on court record, maintaining that he was going to continue to post the dead thing. And Bo was coming in and he said, no, I'm not the dead thing. What the hell are you doing here? And so eventually we get to this point in time. Last week he gets the 2 letters. That was his offer. Apparently he could call back and be the dead thing, or he could be the proper and be the sovereign. And of course he sent back the dead letter, returned to sender unacceptable mail as per 18 U.S.C. 1342, and he went ahead and opened the letter addressed to the sovereign. And right now the clerk is in receipt of the judgment on remand, and we'll see how that goes from there. To remit something is to turn it into money, and so when they were found guilty by default, the next step is to remit them as the backing for the FRN. And so what that means is that each corporation, each 14th Amendment person is now in debenture. They're not living beings. They tried to maintain that they were, since Lincoln said that a corporation is a living being in the 14th Amendment. And fine, you have the title now. That's what you wanted. You're the 14th Amendment person, and apparently you've been turned into a natural person because you've been stripped of all color. We're not doing anything under color of law, nothing under color of authority, and you're fucked. You lost your funding through the International Monetary Fund, and you don't get anything back unless you adhere to the public law, and that's the bottom line. There's nothing left.
Hey, Tami. So effectively what you've done is you've castrated one, right?
Well, we castrated the whole thing because it flipped it all the way around.
No, I'm talking. Okay, U.S. You specifically U.S. right? Not the U.S. castrated. That's one. Yeah. Well,
the United States Congress, or the League of Nations, is the global governing power since the Atlantic Charter.
Hang on, I'm working with you here. I need you to follow this train of thought. I need your mind more than anyone else's right now. So I need you to get this. I want to share this with you because I want to get your thoughts on it. Because this is, see, what we're dealing with here is meat stickville. We're still dealing in the planetary. I've been after the spirit, the stir, from day one. All right, kind of my job. What we do when we go into court, we're still dealing with church and state, and there has not been a separation yet. All right, we're still dealing with.
There's never been a separation, and
well, no, I realize that. I understand that. I need you. Let me walk you down the path a little bit. This is a lot of information going to come at you real quick here. These are downloads, like severe downloads. What we're dealing with here is we are the ones committing fraud using a name that was sold. This is from the beginning. All right, Mom and Dad sold your name. Mom and Dad sold mine, and we've been using it all along. And when they sold the name, they also sold the feminine divine essence. That's what to rule the.
Well, and I think what she was trying to explain is that, everything's under ecclesiastical law. At the separation of the spiritual and temporal, the female and the male were given a choice. You could either come together as one, or you can be separate. And she can go off to the other daddy and get all these benefits and everything else, and that's how it's going to be. And for years and years and years now, she's done that. She's gone off and she's gone with the other daddy, which is matriarchal in presence. It's run by the dyke female, by the psychopath. And what's happening is that all this time we've been preyed on using her. She likes her benefits. She likes her welfare. She likes her free daycare. She likes her free schooling. She likes all these benefits and has no idea that, oh my gosh, I'm so sick. I'm depressed. I'm this or this. And she's running in for these diagnoses. And this is what keeps her in chattel. She is generating revenue every time she deals with something. She's only used as chattel in this matriarchal society until now. And what happened now is that the male and female have come together as one, and they've stood back to back now. And we have stood back to back. If something happens to him, I defend the title. If something happens to me, he defends my title. We protect each other, and that was the requirement under ecclesiastical law. To get there, judges are bound by judicial canon, which is handed out by ecclesiastical law. There's never been a separation of church and state. This is all maintained by the House of Lords still, the bishops of the spiritual and the bishops of the temporal, and those are their employers. And what happened on October 15th, 1777, was the Congress, or at that time it was becoming the League of Nations, had stepped in and decided they wanted to embezzle from the House of Lords. And so now we can be injured. Now we can have all sorts of shit happen to us. We can be poked and prodded and pushed on so that they can engineer a diagnosis by which to get paid by the House of Lords through such as the International Monetary Fund and the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reservation is a reservation on our rights. Anybody's rights who are being subjugated under some style of government or home life or whatever else. And what Congress had done is they trumped up everything. They said it was the mail picking on us. They said it was, oh my gosh, we're just so abused by the mail. We were never abused by the mail. When I didn't have the right to vote, Congress took my right to vote. When I didn't have the right to own anything, Congress took my right to own anything. This has always been the League of Nations. It's always been Congress. It's always been some form of governmental influence taking my rights so that they can sell them back to me, which is embezzlement from the House of Lords. And part of this case is that when we did the demand to produce title or quit, we also sent the same thing to their employers, which is the House of Lords, and we said, hey, look, you are on the hook here. This is your employee that's fucking me over. I don't like to be fucked over. They're supposed to be the trustees of the Federal Reserve, and they're not doing anything that's functional or taking care of a female or any children or anything else. And we have evidence it's not just in this case. There are about 10 other cases that I'm running the same thing. There's so much evidence that, we're just being preyed on. We're held as chattel. They're embezzling from the House of Lords. These people keep dipping their hands into the Federal Reserve. They're taking monies that are not theirs. They are not protecting anybody whatsoever. And so at this point in time, now their funding's shut off. And they are no longer trustees of the Federal Reserve. This shift, or the remittance, and I don't know if Katie's back online or whatever, but we never went in as a dead thing. We don't accept that we are their product, first of all. We're not claiming the last name, which is a description. The last name is considered, it's called the family name or cognomen. And what this is it's a genus. The last name is a genus. It describes you as a subspecies of human. This is what this human can do. Eric's son is Eric's son. Lars' son is Lars' son. Smith means blacksmith or silversmith. And they're describing what we can do, a new subspecies of human, which allowed them to hold and maintain the patent on the human being that was conceived. Conceived means with thought. It does not mean be living or anything other. It means with thought. So they've been able to hold us as intellectual property in such as the World Intellectual Property Organization. And now what happened in this case?
Via the Crown copyright of the name. This is how they've done it, and they did it through the Vatican, through the Church and State.
The copyright, though.
Tammy, I'm not disagreeing with you, hon. I'm taking you to a whole different level spiritually.
Right.
You
and
guys,
the copyright really isn't there. It happened back at the letters patent. It's actually under patent law, and the letters patent of Henry. He went through and he said to his sons, whatever you find is yours. Whatever you find. Now, if I go out into the ocean and I find a rare fish for the first time ever, I can name that fish. That patent becomes mine, and that's what happened. So they came along and they find these blacksmiths and silversmiths. That's finding, and then they completely ramped this up in 1864 with the 1864 Geneva Convention. Now, at that point in time, they developed the Red Cross, which is a foundling hospital, and since that time, they have been finding us every time we go into the hospital because you're putting yourself there. You are birthing a child or docking a child on their land, on their dock, and that's what's happening. And these patents, now we are allowing them the ability to find us easier by going into the hospitals and giving birth. And that goes back, again, I want to touch on the Federal Reserve aspect of it because now they're forcing us to be found. They're forcing us to consent. The entire system was based on consent and dissent. The entire system was based on consent and dissent. And what had happened is they no longer allow us to have the choice. They give us a very specific amount of choices, a limited amount of choices to make us feel like we have a choice, such as with feminism or birth control or any number of these things. But the implication from the outside comes in, and the IMF was controlling the inflation rate. So we're given the choice to have children. However, there's an outside influence controlling the inflation rate. So eventually, what do you say? I can't afford to have any more kids. I can't afford to have any more children. This is a eugenics program. This is human husbandry. When you have to say to yourself, you are an animal, you are a biology. And when you have to say to yourself, I cannot afford to have any more children, you are being controlled by economics. Eco means home. Economics means laws. Economics is the laws of the home. You have very specific influence on you. You do not have a choice. You never had a choice. And this is what it comes down to. Now we've completely dissented. They are obliterated. They no longer have a right to even touch that Federal Reserve. And I don't even think they know until June when they revamp their remittance. They have no idea. And here we're dealing with these idiots at the county commission. They're coming in with this bullshit argument. There's nothing there. It's hot air. Same argument. Hot air. And people need to realize these things. I mean, it's been a joke since December. I thought that they would argue something. They never argued anything. They're too stupid to argue anything.
Katie?
Okay, if I can speak, I would love to add to what you're saying, Tami, because you guys have got the what, the when, the how, and the where figured out. Do you want the why? This is all I'm trying to add. I'm not trying to take anything away from you. You guys have got the cannon built. It's ready to fire. I got a trigger. Do you want it? That's what I'm trying to give you. It's about it's about getting. It's not about debate or anything. I am so desperate to get this information into your mind. So, I'm asking for some help. That's what I'm asking for. Okay. Absolutely. This is we're on the same page here. This is desperate Katie right now because they've already knocked me off twice. Take the hint. This is valuable. I know this is. We're walking in contempt of their court by walking in at all because we have not reclaimed and cleared our name. We are still Pontius Pilate. We need to wash our hands. We need to turn the tables. Some cool cat did it in a temple once, the moneylenders. So here's the turning of the tables. It's all about intent, which is masculine, yes? Creative is the void of creation is feminine. The intent of creation is masculine. The prodigal son versus the creative mother. So what they've done is they've turned the tables in making the prodigal son the power after, which is actually the lesser, the child of a lesser god. It is the one that cannot procreate, so it must manipulate the creation in order to get what it wants, the spoiled little bastard phallic child that it is. So I'm castrating Osiris completely here. What we need to do is go back in with unclean hands. Is it the court's intent to get me to self-incriminate by using somebody else's property that was never mine, was never agreed to upon by myself, where I will not let anyone else speak for me beyond the age of 18? I'll speak for myself, thank you very much. You know, and this is what it boils down to. This is what I've sent to the British Registry, Belfast Registry Office over in Northern Ireland, and they acquiesced. They said, thank you for your correspondence. And I said, well, thank you for your acquiescence, because I don't need anyone's permission. I'm telling you how it is, because I am my own judge. I am my own jury and my own executioner. So the bottom line here, what we have to do is stop being in contempt of court. It is all about, back to the clerk's praxis, it is all about contempt of court. And if we are walking in with unclean hands, we are automatically in contempt until we clear our name. And the name was registered. The fraud has been revealed, where the intent to defraud was clearly there by the use of force that they're using now. So it is by their actions they are shown and known. So now it is about clearing our own name. The Crown can have copyright. That's yours. And they took the deed pool, right? They took the deed pool.
Well, and that's all it's been about since the separation of the spiritual and temporal. And when you come forward, what they've done is, because you don't know who you are, nobody knows who they are. They can't get it through their head. They may be a citizen, or they may be an individual, or they may be a female or a male. They're always of dual mind. And so they implicated what's known as Westminster statute. There's 52 statutes. And this is bankruptcy code. What we know as bankruptcy code in the U.S. Code is Westminster statute. And what that said was we were all depraved. We have no idea who we are. No, everybody's walking around. They're claiming to be an individual, female, male, man, woman, you name it, doctor, teacher, mother, father, whatever. But they're claiming all of these things that indicate that they're always of dual mind. And
okay, I see you on the board, Tami, but I can't hear you.
Yeah, she's cutting out there. I'm just waiting to see if she got bumped or not.
Bumped, yeah.
And Tami's absolutely correct. That's kind of where my little situation comes into play here. Imagine that. What are the odds of a two-spirit showing up on shows like this, right?
Pretty good, I think.
This is just ridiculous tonight again, of course.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Oh, how fun. Westminster. So everybody's considered depraved. You don't know what you are. You have to be protected, and that's the foundation of all these laws, and so they've been cashing in on this. And everybody needs to realize that they already are. Stop seeking to be. Stop claiming to be all these titles, individual, constitutionalist, man, woman, male, female, whatever. Those things don't matter. You already are. You know, I can tell you forever, Pat, that you're not a female, but you're a female, correct? I mean, that's just a given. It's your biology.
Yep, it is.
You know, it doesn't work, does it? I mean, it's not going to change you. You're not going to suddenly have a penis or anything else, but that's a title.
That would be interesting, but I don't foresee that happening now.
Right.
See, that's where I come into the mix.
Yep.
See, I am biologically both.
Absolutely, and you're perfect in all of that you are. You know, at certain times in your life, you've got adrenaline rushing, you've got testosterone rushing, and you're going to act like the male. You are a male at that time, and then you have all of the estrogen rushing.
Here we go again.
There we go again. Yeah. Try to clarify that for those that I'm sure everyone should know by now. If you don't, man, you got to get on the net and check out Kate of Gaia. Yeah, I'm transgendered. I'm a two-spirit. I have been walking the middle world my whole life. I've had both my whole life. Yes, more genetically in the male aspect than the female, but in some ways, but in other ways, I've done all that. I tried to prove me wrong. I thought there was something desperately wrong with me, and the more I tried to prove myself wrong, the more I proved myself right. or that I was as I am, because I don't fit into the social norm here. You got to be either one or the other. But here's the problem. Here's the division of you. If you are one or the other, you are either creation or the intention. And that's where the real separation occurred. That was the real divide and conquer. You see, because the true female can self-procreate.
Can you hear me now?
There. I can hear you now.
Oh, good. Yeah, that was
Kate
like
got dropped right
times.
now.
Okay.
Did you hear?
Oh.
Kate was saying that her conundrum is being the gender, the both, and going through that. So.
And just accept yourself. I mean, everybody has both in us. I mean,
just be.
Absolutely. There are times when I'm just so angry and I'm going to fight for my children or whatever else I need to be. And at that point in time, I'm in the masculine. I've got adrenaline running through me or norepinephrine or whatever. But it doesn't change me. It doesn't change what
Well, I have the tendency to agree with that. I can be aggressive if I needed to be. It doesn't, defining yourself by a title of any kind is to put some sort of control and limitations.
Agreed.
Who's
Looks
that?
like I'm back.
Okay, there you are.
Yeah, well, of course they're gonna hammer my ass tonight. So we're gonna have to change the password because I have a funny feeling that
Tami got it right after you. So.
Yeah, I know. I just saw it. I watched it drop. So the bottom line is this: you are both, and you better get your creation and your intention together. Walk the middle road, okay? If you think that you're just female, then you're trapped in void and you will be raped. If you think you're just male, you will be trapped in intention and you will be the rapist. That's how it works, guys. Okay, so you got to get it together. You got to decide to be both. And as I said, when I got cut off, said the true female, the true feminine divine, is that which can self-procreate. And the abomination in nature is the male. And that's not to say, boys, there's evil. No, that's not it at all. We got to bring this back into balance, okay? I kind of play on both teams here. This is the irony and the I don't know.
Well, the seed and the womb are equally, necessary. And, as beings, that's the same. To walk the neutral line, that comes to our minds and, the seed of our thoughts and things like that.
Here's a question. Let's talk biology for a sec. Here's a question. Every fetus of every child starts out what?
Tell me.
Female. Every fetus is female. Every embryo.
And? So
what happens? Things change biologically. I used to have all the stats on this. I kind of blocked them out of my head, but there are certain points at which certain levels of chemicals, generally when there's stress or whatever with the mother, that allows for the creation of the male, right? And of course, there's always a preponderance of more males to females, and they say, well, that's because of the wars and all the rest. No. No, it's because of deliberate fear and stress placed upon humanity that allows that.
Social engineering.
Yeah, absolutely. Of a spiritual nature. This is why they went after the spiritual. This is why
everything is spiritual.
Yes. And what you guys have got is this beautiful landscape of knocking down the physical and the mind, right? Body, mind. We just got to finish it off with the Trinity of Spirit. Why did they want to rule the divine creative essence? Well, I'll tell you why. Because that way they can manipulate creation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Man, manipulate. Got it?
They have been.
Ovulate. It's just a coincidence. All right? So
like everything, right?
Exactly. So where I've been walking this whole time is, I look back through history, and two spirits, beings of my nature, were slaughtered wholesale. As soon as they were spotted in a village, they were slaughtered. And the reason being is because that is the missing link, boys and girls. They've been looking for apes. We've been the missing link. We've had them in our societies all along. And if you notice now, there was a greater preponderance of two spirits because that missing link is now coming forward. There's a great responsibility for this knowledge. And all I'm trying to do is share it. And what we need to do is reclaim.
I think it's all coming together.
It is. It's all coming together. I mean, the downloads have been amazing, and the document I'm working on is something you stick onto any court document, and what it's basically going to ask them is, listen, if I use this name that isn't mine, is it the court's intent to incite me into self-incrimination by being in contempt of court, thus making you in contempt of your own court as well? It's got to work both ways. Turning of the tables, right? It's that tossing heads or tails. You want the head of the dragon or the tail of the dragon? Sorry, I got the whole damn dragon.
Well, am I back?
Mm-hmm. There you
goodness. Are. The contempt of court was also reiterated in the 1832 Nullification Proclamation, wherein if you do go into court and argue under statutory or legislative provision, you're to be held in contempt forever if you try to appeal the decision of the lower court. Well, this maintains that you're allowing somebody else to decide your fate. You're allowing somebody else to decide who you are and to name you or do whatever they're going to do in an administration process. And by not appearing in court, you are stopping their ability to own or hold that patent. Don't claim that patented last name. That thing says what you can do, what you are, whatever. That they hold the patent according to the latest patent.
Tami, one further trap there, too. All right, this is a bit of new information, new realizations, same information. What is a given name? You see, here's the problem with the first, middle, and last, or the given, middle, and family. Whatever you want to order, you want to put it in, they're all traps. All right?
Because they're not.
Well, hang on. Tami, let me share this with you, and then you can decide, because I haven't told you what it is yet. You see, when your parents give you a name, that's given. What is a gift? Look it up. It is something given without consideration. So when your parents give your name into the registry, it is given without consideration. It is considered a gift. And they can do whatever they want with that gift. You see, otherwise it would be an obligation. What I'm doing now is taking that non-consideration and turning it into an obligation. It was never given with that intent. It was only based on assumption and presumption of law. So we need to remove the assumption, presumption, go back with clean hands, and slaughter them with a chainsaw.
And that's something that is hard to wrap the mind around. Clean hands doctrine is actually a doctrine that stipulates that you can be moving something from the back end, such as within psychology or legal process, and your hands are never touching it. So you have clean hands. And what you're doing is you're pushing somebody to do something on your behalf or for you, where you have clean hands, they have dirty hands.
But we dirty our hands when we get into their playpen. This is what I'm saying. And their playpen, anytime we use the name that our parents sold fairly, right, in ignorance of the law is not a defense of or from it. Okay, so let's take the blame here. I'm tired of people blaming everything outside of themselves. I'm going to take the blame on this one, but I'm also going to take the ability to stand up and go, okay, well, I know what happened. Wasn't my intent. See, here's the thing. Court has to prove intent. And there's no assumption or presumption of what my thoughts are. I make it very clear. So what we do, though, if we use the name at all based on anything that was registered, that's a spiritual contract. Okay, that is church and state. Your parents got married in a church. There's the contract with their, child-murdering, piece of shit, Moloch, Baal, murdering, jealous, needs to be worshipped God that has vengeance, because vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Not much love in that side of things. So what we need to do is rip that away for the bullshit lies that it is. And we also have to take down the state as well, because they both work together. The deed poll is what creates the bond. UPU, we've been walking around with this birth bond that has never been lawfully reposited in any of the treasuries. So it is totally an ineffectual bond. So we're making claims on something that is not ours, isn't even active. So we're in contempt with dirty hands. We walk with dirty hands.
Which is the whole premise of the forgiveness doc, because you're giving that up. You're giving up the last name, and you're coming in as the proper name. And the proper name is not a patented thing. It's called...
Tami, I'm giving them all up, because everyone will fight to the death for their name. That's why they used it. That's why the tool was created. This is the cradle to grave I speak of. I have spoken of for many, many times. Oh, Tami got knocked again. Damn. Here, just to finish this off, guys. The thing is, while we... No, she just got smoked again. I'm here. I'm back. Yeah, see what I mean? Every time I get to meat and potatoes land, they knock me off. All right? So I might have something to add here.
Keep going. I'm going to mute out. Just run with it.
Yeah, I'm doing that. While we cling to everything that has been given away, our given name was given away without consideration, they own us spiritually because the intent is there to own us spiritually. So I'm removing that. I've reclaimed my feminine divine creative essence spiritually. Get over it. Okay? The name that was given to me was sold. It's no longer mine. I have my own name that
I really think that they're coming apart at the seams, and that's why we're seeing so much junk on the outside. And these are we're just dealing with the spiritual individually and cumulatively, as well as watching this thing fall by taking the legs out from under it. It's going to be interesting when they say, may you live in interesting times. We certainly do. It's going to be interesting to watch. It'll be interesting if Tami ever gets in. Yes.
Oh, thank goodness. What the heck?
I don't know, man.
This is the
bullshit.
The worst night we've had so far. So Zach's going to have fun producing this one, I bet. That's another thing I'd like to mention, Zach, at verdictproductions.com. Thank you for producing us and getting us up on YouTube. And
go check out his website. It's just new and up. He's it's been amazing. Very generous soul and does amazing.
Back again. Yeah. By the way,
Katie, we'll both be taken out tonight.
Well, yeah, because this is the information they don't want united. This is why I'm trying to get it to you. Anything, stop clinging to the name that you think is yours. It isn't. It was given away by your parents, and why you cling to that in any way.
It's just sick. What the heck?
This is baloney, man.
The name actually is held under copy holdability, and what you're doing is every time you register or get a license for anything, you're copy holding and putting an easement through that estate, through the body itself. So you're allowing them to take it over by consent. But at the birth bond, that actually is deposited. The female is deposited in the Federal Reserve as a special deposit by appearing in front of a court or asking anything to protect it. That's maintained under the system of legal process. And what you want to do is, get away from that and stop registering. Stop being a part of the system. The proper name is yours. Under Black's Law Dictionary, it's just a first name. It doesn't signify what tribe you're from or what family you're of or any other subspecies or anything else, and so they cannot hold the patent on it, which has been evidenced in this case, in Beau's case, with the attorney arguing that he couldn't post the proper name, and he would rather give himself up to the law and be criminally charged, which is what has happened, than post the proper name, which he knew he could not post the proper name. You cannot hypothecate the proper name because they don't have any hold on it. They don't have any lawful ability. They don't have the patent on the proper name. So that's where we're all at right now, maintaining under the proper name. And there's so many variances on this. I know that Kurt Kallenbach and I, we argued tooth and nail because he's somehow got the notion that the first and middle name is something that can be patented, and so what his thoughts on that was to quit claim the entire estate and don't have anything to do with it. Well, when he quit claimed himself and several other people, one of them, Vera, she's been arrested 5 times so far because she's lost at sea again because there's a quit claim. Phil's been arrested, I think, 3 times since he quit claim Phil. Part of Phil's estate was Adam, which is his son. Adam's been arrested. And there's been several other arrests that I cannot mention. Phil and Adam, they know that, we're public about this, and everybody knows about the Jonathan documents and Jonathan cases. Vera is one of our students. now at this time, so we're not going to quit claim the entire name or give it up or anything other. What you need to do is put the claim on it because it is yours. Nobody ever had a right or authority, and they never held a lodial title to your estate. They never had a lodial anything to your estate. Everything is created by operation of law. Congress has come in and facilitated act after act after act in order to take you, appropriate you through the 1802 Indemnification Convention and otherwise. And we're at the top of the hour, so we're going to run into a break real quick, and we'll be back in about 3 minutes and 15 seconds. See you on the other side. Hi, and welcome back to Leaving the Farm with Pat and Tami, brought to you by Critical Mass Radio, Syncrenicity. To catch updates on our show and others, please visit freedomslips.com every Wednesday night for the Bo and Rocco show, 10 to midnight Eastern Standard Time. We want to give a shout out to Zach at Verdict Productions, verdictproductions.com, for producing us.
Anytime now. I see Tami, but she's bumped again. I guess I can just keep repeating that for the next few minutes until somebody pops back in. I hear Kate or Tami.
Am I back?
You're back.
Oh, this is just horrible tonight. Hopefully soon we'll find a solution for this issue. There's a lot of things in the work, and we'll release that as it happens. But it will be a better opportunity, I believe, as soon as we can get things situated and under control. No more soft cell censorship by the likes of any, which will be really nice. People are told that in other countries or in other areas of the globe, there's a lot of censorship going on, and this is blatant censorship. But in the United States Incorporated, the censorship comes in the form of this, what you see here tonight. We were cut offline. We have lots of shoes that call in.
Thank you for proving me right. Knock me off the air again. Do it again, at least 15 times. Come on.
Oh boy, don't tempt fate. It's going to be a punch out. She's going to come on with her boxing gloves now. Tami?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, this is just...
Yeah.
Soon it'll be fixed, folks, and then we'll have a permanent location where there will not be censorship and all this crap. I suggest that if anybody is contemplating Blog Talk Radio, that they probably might want to go somewhere else to do whatever they're going to do.
We're working on dedicated. We're working on dedicated servers right now. Go on, guys. Hack me again. Knock me off again. Prove that everything I'm saying scares the living shit out of you. Come on. Bring it on, motherfucker. Let's have some fun.
It's just ridiculous. See? I mean, this is...
No, it's not. Tami, this is beautiful. They're proving me right. Because the fact that they want to shut us down means that we've got the shit going on. And guess what, guys? Bring it on. Come on. Prove to us that we're right. Lose the name, win the game. And that's the given, middle, and last. Because the minute you cling on to it, your intent is owned.
And she's out.
God. This is just ridiculous. Come on.
Yeah. Well, go ahead with what you were saying. Maybe we'll get a couple seconds in or something. We have a whole hour left of this fun.
Yep, a whole hour left of this fun. Yeah, Zach's going to have fun putting this one together, I'll tell you that much.
It'll end up being, about 45 minutes or something at the end. Oh, well, it is what it is, so...
Well, and the presumption is that, we probably have a bunch of sheeple listening, which is not the case.
That turn off when there's dead air, or they figure that people will just go away.
About 8 times to unmute. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Oh, I think I just got bumped. Did I? Or am I there?
No, you're here. I think Tami did.
Oh, somebody.
Yeah, but now everybody did. I must have a good connection or something. Or that I have nothing really of value to add to this conversation. And that's quite possible, too. I'm just not getting into the fray, if there's a fray. If there's any sort of debate, I don't want that. I hear somebody.
I think it's me, maybe.
Yay, okay.
I'm here. No, it's so ridiculous because, it throws us off. It takes us out of our place. And what we really need to do is just stand on what we've been doing, upholding the public law. You become the Lord, the God. You stand on your authority. House of Lords stepped in at the test, or whatever it is. This is a test of trust. And what happened was, at the separation of the spiritual and temporal, the female and the male no longer trusted each other, period. Bottom line. And what has happened throughout time is the legal system has created various trusts and have offered you and sold you the law and your rights and benefits. And it is called the law merchant, and everybody's been purchasing from the law merchant. They've been buying their rights.
Well, okay. I'm just going to wing it here. I think that there's a lot of stuff going on out there, in YouTube land, and all the false flags and various seemingly random whatever, explosions and shit all over the place, and all this Second Amendment stuff. And it's only, in my view, it's meant to just keep you in the material world, to keep you in this physical bullshit construct that they did. Okay, then go.
Okay, lose the name, all of it. Take away the intent. It makes it powerless. With no intent to the name, there is no power.
Well, I don't know if she got it out or not, but if she didn't, she'll be back to finish that. Tami, did you make it? I see Tami.